This episode of Homemade was previously recorded in front of a live stream audience who asked questions and cook along during the show. If you love cooking and want to join us in the kitchen, visit homemadecooking.com to register for free live classes. Now, let's get cooking. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're coming in from the world. If we have never met before, I'm Joel. I'm the founder and CEO here at Homemade. Today we're making the most stunning seared scallops with a citrus olive relish. We have Chef Meg in the chat. Meg, what is up?
Hello. It's gonna be a good one today.
I know. We both are stoked about this.
Yeah, and it's like simple, but just a perfect meal. Like anyone could make this. It's not gonna heat up your kitchen too much, you know? It's
totally. It's fast. And again, I think elevated. Like if you're gonna try to impress someone or just feel like something's just a little bit, a notch above, I kind of think this is like the perfect Mother's Day meal, birthday meal, whatever you're celebrating. The very first thing I want you to do, and this is when it comes to searing anything, is I want you to grab a pan, a skillet. We're using a non-stick, but you don't need to use non-stick. And I want you to put it on the heat on a medium low. I would say like a 3 or 4 out of 10. So if you're cooking along, put your skillet on the heat and just turn it on. And it's gonna just heat up. We're literally not even gonna cook in this in the next 20 minutes. But in order to get that ripping, gorgeous, even sear, we need to preheat our pan just like we preheat our oven. Now, speaking of preheating the oven, we're gonna roast up some asparagus. It's asparagus season. So this is a great time to head to your oven. If you're also cooking along, turn it to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're watching in a Celsius place, I don't know if that is Celsius, Meg can look it up. But preheat your oven and get that going as well. Scallops are like a clam. They live in this shell like this, right? And they're the abductor muscle. They live right in here. You take it out of the shell, and that's what makes the shell go up and down. It's the muscle. And the way that it connects to the shell, I'm gonna take the biggest one here, these are stunning, is it has what's called a foot on it. And it's this little notch that comes on every scallop, and you know they're fresh if you see the foot. Now, if you don't see the foot, some places defoot them for you, which takes less than 5 seconds. You'll see why how fast they are. But some places sell fake scallops. No joke. I heard of someone punching out halibut or cod with like a little ring mold, and they look like scallops, and they sell them at the price of scallops, but they don't have that little notch. So that notch to me shows freshness, it shows authenticity. So the way you get rid of this little foot which connects to the shell is you just kind of pull it off. And it just looks like this. You don't have to throw this away. This makes an amazing beurre blanc or seafood stock. So you can freeze these when you have enough of them. But I'll just show you another one. So you just kind of lift it up, you look for that little foot, and you just kind of peel it off. If you eat the foot, you're not gonna die, nothing bad's gonna happen. It's just a little chewy. So you just wanna look and make sure they're all defooted. These look amazing. So the first Meg did beautifully, which is she took like a little cookie rack and she took the scallops out of their package and onto this cookie rack like this. That way any excess water can just kind of drop below, just like this. If you don't have a cookie rack, grab some like celery or like tinfoil and just make like little, make your own little makeshift rack, but just make sure they're elevated. The next is I grab paper towels and I just kind of pat them dry. And not with too much force, because again, scallops are sensitive. We've got our pan preheating, we've got our oven preheating. We're now gonna make a gorgeous relish. This is all done by hand. You don't need a machine. So quick. I've got a handful of green olives, which is by far, to me, my favorite olives. These are already pitted. I've got a little bit of capers. And right on the board, I'm just gonna chop these up. And the right way to chop, you guys, is not like this. It's by putting your hand on the board, your knife underneath of it, and just rocking it through. Amazing. All right, I've got 2 cloves of garlic. So I've chopped up my olives and capers. Garlic is going on, and I'm gonna add a little bit of salt on top of the garlic. And that salt, just like we talked about with the scallop, is gonna help take the moisture out of the garlic and break it down. So I'm just gonna chop up the garlic as well. This already smells really good. And I'm just gonna push that into the olives with the salt. Cool. Next to the party is some fresh herbs. We've got some parsley, but you can use thyme and tarragon and basil, whatever you got. And I'm just gonna fold it on itself, stems and all. And I'm just gonna chop that up. You guys know me, nothing goes to waste in this kitchen at Homemade. So we're gonna chop up the stems and the leaves and push that in there. And then these two ingredients are crazy crucial. I talked about how bright and light and beautiful that tapenade I had in France was. I'm just gonna zest 1 whole lemon and 1 whole orange. This is a citrus tapenade, and it is, you could smother this on chicken, just over the top of some vegetables. Oh my gosh, an artichokes would be amazing. But this is so good for you, so healthy, so many great fats, and I think so versatile. Like you could throw this on top of a pasta and just have this be the sauce. You could smear it on a sandwich with turkey. I mean, if you make enough of this tapenade, guys, you are golden. Golden. All right, so at this point, I've got the zest, the garlic, all the olives, and then I just get in there and give it a good couple more chops to really kind of combine it. And just do this all right on the board. Beautiful. All right, that's looking great. This looks crazy delicious. I'm just gonna gather it all up, add it to my bowl, and then you just gotta eye this next part. You could be done at this part, by the way, but I kind of like making it a little bit of a sauce if you want. But I just eye a little bit of really good olive oil. This just makes it kind of flowy, saucy, and again, it just kind of stretches it so you have it in the fridge. But really good olive oil. You could add a little chili flake in this if you wanted. But at this point, oh, look at this. I mean, gorgeous. So fast. That took me, what, 5 minutes? Let's give that a little taste. Yeah, that takes me right back. That is really good. All right, let's get our asparagus ready. Guys, for the asparagus, it couldn't be any more simple. What we got going here is fresh, beautiful asparagus, which right now they're fat and they're plump. Beautiful. And I just line them up like little soldiers. And everyone kind of like picks up an asparagus and clips it like this. But I always find it takes too much off. Like that's almost half the asparagus that just clicked off. So I just kind of eye it wherever it starts to turn white. And then this is just the easiest little recipe of asparagus on the face of the planet. You just take your asparagus, I kind of lay it out on my sheet tray. Make sure there's lots of room. Everyone always asks me, how do you get crispy asparagus but not overcook it? It's all about how much room you have on your sheet tray. See how much room they have to breathe? If you try and stack them all on top of each other, they steam and they don't get crispy. So really spread them out. Even if one's kind of off to the side here, that is cool. Then a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm going heavy on the pepper. I want kind of a spicy asparagus. Toss these through. Oh yeah. And guys, asparagus does not need to be overcooked. Just a quick flash in the oven. Our oven is preheated. It's looking great. So I'm gonna pop these in for maybe like 3 minutes, 4 minutes or so. Meg, keep me honest on that. Don't let me forget about them.
All right, setting a timer.
All right. So let's get to it. So at this point, my pan is ripping hot. Like I can put my hand here and hold it for maybe 4 seconds before it gets a little hot. So that means it's really evenly heated, it's beautiful, and it's ready to sear. The scallops themselves look impeccable. And so from up high, this is really important with scallops, because they're so delicate in flavor, you really want to salt them evenly. So I grab a nice pinch of kosher salt And from up high, I sprinkle so that the salt really evenly distributes all over those scallops. And I do the same thing with the black pepper. So the black pepper kind of rains on an even coating. Cool? And I do one side, because you can always do the next side, and I don't want to kind of cross-contaminate my finger and all that stuff. So, next up is the sear. And everyone's like, do you use butter? Do you use oil? You're gonna sear in oil, okay? A nice neutral oil. You can use a light vegetable or a light olive oil, but I like more vegetable oil or avocado oil, even coconut oil. High smoke point, neutral flavor, because I wanna taste the scallop. So we're not using butter yet. Butter's coming. But right now in the sear, we're going all neutral oil. So I'm gonna go in with a couple of tablespoons of oil. So I'm gonna start at the top of the pan at 12 o'clock, and I'm gonna just kind of run the scallop in and just place it, and then go around the clock, salt and pepper side down, and just kind of place these puppies in. Now again, they're delicate. If one kind of breaks, that's okay. That'll be a chef snack. But for the most part, these are looking gorgeous. And I'm just going around the clock. We go around the clock so we know what are the first scallops we put in, so that we know which are the first scallops we should check out. So I'm gonna let those sear. I'm gonna wash my hands, since I just touched those puppies. And this is the moment. This is the moment where your scallop can go from unbelievably good to like, it's a scallop. So the key is don't mess with it. Don't mess with this. I say this to men a lot because guys like to poke at things. I don't know, it's like a button for us. Don't move them. Don't shake the pan. Don't grab a spatula and start futzing with it. None of that. Let them sear. Let them be. All right? So I'm going to let them do their thing. While they're doing their thing, I'm going to season the other side. Again, from up high. Beautiful. Black pepper. Now, we're going to let these cook for about 4 minutes. And they're all usually around the same size. Even a really thick scallop, it's about 4 minutes. The first side of the scallop is going to take longer. So it's really like, everyone always goes about 2 minutes per side. Wrong. That is wrong. It is about 3 minutes for the first side and about 1 minute for the second side. And that is how you don't overcook your scallop, okay? The reason why is your first side is cold. It just came out of the fridge. So it's like putting ice cubes in the pan. The whole pan lowers in temperature, and the pan needs to kind of reheat back up. By the time you flip it to the other side, it's hot, it's ready to go. So the second side gets a nice, more evenly heated treatment. While I'm doing that, I'm cutting the lemon in half. This is a little extra, and I'm searing it next to my scallops. All right, let's see what we got. Yes, gorgeous. This is it. This is all you need. 3-4 minutes tops. They're just super plump and beautiful. They're hot. But what I want to show you is this is the trick. If you hold up a piece of asparagus and it limps over, you overcooked it. But you see how I hold this up and it's just this nice straight line? That is a crunchy, well-cooked piece of asparagus. Even the little one holds its nice line. Anything that goes like whoop, no bueno. All right? So we'll put those to the side, let those cool for just a bit. And I think it's time for some scallop love. Now, when it comes to flipping these, a lot of people use tongs. I've said this already a million times. These guys are delicate. Tongs, they're not delicate. They're really rough. So it's nice to use something like a fish spatula or even like a little fork. I'll show you how to do it with a fork. To flip these guys. All right? Notice how I haven't been messing with them, right? Aren't you guys proud of me? We've been doing a lot of other stuff, but not messing with the scallop. So I just want to check that first one at 12 o'clock. I put my finger on the cold side of the scallop, and I flip it away from me. Oh, look at that. So let's do it again. Flip it away. Now I want this even just a little bit hotter. There we go. So I like these crusts. We're getting a really nice golden brown. I want it even more. So what I'm gonna do is flip them back. These are our little testers. They're close. I think they need another 30 seconds or so. So I turned up my heat to about a 9. And be patient with it. This is not a good time to do anything else but hang out next to these scallops. These are great. Oh yeah. All right, so it's a big pan. So we put the first ones on top, but what I'm seeing immediately is that the bottom ones are getting more heat, which is fine. I'm just seeing more caramelization. So you can take your fork and start flipping these. And they're really easy. Again, finger on the cold side, flip it over. Notice how evenly caramelized these are. I'll take out our lemons. Look at our lemons, by the way. I love that. Just a nice little charred lemon there. All right, at this point, the scallops are searing on the other side, and it's only about 1 minute, right? So it's really quick. So this is the time where I want you to add a little bit of butter. We're gonna add about a tablespoon or two. And I'm gonna go with a little more. Why not? You're not gonna really eat this butter. It's just gonna kind of help flavor it. At this point, you can turn off the heat. So once you flip them, you almost can turn off the heat and just kind of tip the butter towards you and baste the scallops with butter. You will not eat all this butter. You don't even need to do this step. This is just making it a little bit lavish, a little gorgeous. But it really gives the scallop just a kiss of richness, which is nice. So it's like a little bit of a brown butter, just basting, like a little bath. Perfect. And at this point, you can use tongs because they're cooked, so they're kind of firm to the touch. And what I like to do, because they've been sitting in butter and oil, is I like to grab a little bit of a towel and just kind of grab the sides of them and just place them right on top of the towel. Look at these. Oh. Are those not beautiful?
They look perfect.
So guys, I just want to hold these up really close so you guys can see. Look how gorgeous. This is what happens, dry packed, not messing with them, beautifully seared scallops. They're gorgeous. So what we're gonna do now, easiest thing in the world, is grab a little platter, grab some of that asparagus, and just kind of all in one direction. And I don't like things too fussy, you guys know me. But you know, try and make this look somewhat nice. But stack up that asparagus in one direction. But I'm gonna grab a little bit of this tapenade and just kind of drizzle a little bit over the asparagus. And honestly, this is a beautiful side dish just as is. But then you take these caramelized, perfect, beautiful scallops, and you just start to kind of dot these around anywhere you see a little opening. Oh, these are so plump and juicy. Okay, those are chef's snacks. We're overdoing it. I'll take a little bit of these, my lemon, and kind of push it off to the side here. And then I grab a little bit more of that tapenade, and I just kind of go over the top. I don't want to go too much over the top of scallops because we worked pretty hard to get crispy scallops. So let that work kind of show for you. And I want to make sure I can kind of hold this up. Look at that. I mean, these are stunners. Can we do a top down real quick? Look at that. All right, I'm gonna let that cool for 5 seconds. I'm gonna grab a little bit of parsley. All right, a little bit of parsley over the top of this. I think the springiest, happiest, most lush scallop dish of this year has just hit the plate. We gotta try some. We gotta get in there. All right, I'm going after the biggest one. I did the work. I get the nicest scallop. That's beautiful. Oh, cutting in, grabbing a little bit of that gorgeous tapenade. Some of that crisp asparagus. The asparagus is not overcooked. No way. No way. A little bit of that jammy lemon that you kind of seared off. You guys, It's such a simple dish. I mean, if I wasn't yapping away at you guys for the past 45 minutes, this would probably take about 20, 30 minutes tops. It looks like you could charge $65 for it. It tastes like heaven on earth. It's incredibly healthy. Oh my. Okay. I think that's my favorite thing we've cooked all year. And we want to thank all the 1,000+ people who tuned in to watch this. I really hope you find a lot of joy out of this one. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Cheers. Asparagus, cheers. Hey there, I'm Joel Gamoran. I'm the head chef and founder of Homemade, and we launched Homemade with the idea that we want to bring cooking and the kitchen to the world. So if you love cooking and want to join us in one of our free live stream cooking classes, head to our website, homemadecooking.com. That's homemadecooking.com to register today.